Morning, everybody. It's good to see you. So when you're ready, go ahead and have a seat, and we'll start with some of those breathing practices we do. For the next few moments, let your eyes close. And pretend you were elongating up to the top of your head, or actually elongate up to the top of your head so that your spine feels just a little bit longer. And for the next few moments, fall into normal breathing patterns. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your nose, and just pay attention to every breath you take. Then lift your right hand to your face. Place the tip of your right index and middle finger between your eyebrows. Breathe in deeply. Exhale all of your air. Use your thumb to block the right nostril. Then inhale left. Ring finger to left. Exhale out the right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left side. Exhale right side. Breathe in right. Breathe out the left. Inhale right side. Exhale left side. Then once again, breathe in right. Breathe out the left. Drop your hands and breathe all the way in. And hold your breath at the top. Exhale. Another time, breathe all the way in. Breathe all the way out. And then once again, breathe all the way in. Breathe all the way out. For the next few moments, breathe normally again. Return to natural breathing patterns. And pay attention to your breath once more. And join your hands together in a prayer and bring to mind someone you would like to dedicate your practices to. And send them some good energy mentally. And then today we'll start with some cat-cow kriyas. So move back to the four-pointed kneeling stance so that your shoulders are above your hands and your knees a bit behind your hips. Use your exhales to round your spine. Roll your tailbone under so you get a nice rounded back. And then use your inhales to lift your tailbone in the other direction and arch your back the other way. Continue on back and forth like that. And as you usually do, feel free to throw in some freestyle motions as well. Move around in any way, shape, or form that feels great. Pay attention to what feels nice and For the next few moments, just do a little bit more of that for a while. And come back to the four-pointed kneeling position and thread the needle with your right side. Sweep your right arm across your midline. Let your shoulder and head drop down toward the ground there. And for the next few moments, just passively twist your spine. Drive down through your hand to come out of that one. Switch for the same on the other side. You're still getting warmed up, so don't worry about twisting too terribly deeply. Just sort of spin until it feels nice. Press down to come back up. And once you've done so, straighten your legs for the plank position and lower all the way down to your stomach this time around. Prop yourself up on your elbows so you resemble a sphinx. Make sure your elbows are placed right underneath your armpits. And press your elbows down into the ground and lift up through your collarbones to begin awakening your spine. It's early on, but if you want to take a little bit deeper, you could always lift your elbows off the floor to work toward a deeper form of the cobra pose. Now next, lower the base of your ribs to the floor, but try to keep your collarbones lifted. Now plant your hands near the underside of your ribs, and then just maintain that back bend, press down, and you'll land in the upward facing dog. And finally, lift your hips back to the ceiling for the downward facing dog. Pedal your legs, alternate between bending one leg and straightening the other one, and just rotate your torso from one side to the other as you continue to pedal. With your hands still on the floor, come way up to your tiptoes. Move your hips and your heels to your rights. And for the next few moments, press your left hand down even harder to stretch your side. Use your next inhale to come up. Shift your hips over for the same on the second side. Drive out your right hand especially as you hold. Sweep your hips all the way back up and take a look forward and step your right foot to your hands. Take your back knee all the way down to the floor. Place your hands on the ground inside of your foot. Feel free to stay up there like me. Otherwise, take an elbow to the earth or both elbows down to the floor if you prefer. Most important thing for now is you just really sink your hips down toward the earth. And step back to the downward facing dog. Press your chest toward your thighs and lock out your shoulder joint. And the same posture on the other side. Left foot forward, the back knee down, and the same arm position you had just a little while back. And now this time, curl your toes under and back. Step all the way forward to the front of your mat. Come upwards and onto your fingertips. And then take a slow forward fold from there. Bend your knees slightly. Shake your head yes a couple times to loosen up your neck. Consider grabbing opposite elbow and opposite hands. And then just get really, really heavy in your arms, in your shoulders, and your chest. Try to make your exhales just a little bit longer, and every time you breathe out, relax as completely as possible. Now drop your hands all the way down to the earth. Bend your legs, and then use an inhale to roll yourself all the way upwards to standing. Once you've got there, join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Use an inhale to sweep your arms outwards and upwards. Forward fold with your exhale and take your fingers or your hands down. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Fold forward again with your exhale. Use an inhale to sweep all the way up to standing, arms outwards and up. And your hands to your chest with your exhale. Inhale to sweep your arms upwards. Forward fold as you exhale. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Then fold again with your exhale. Straight spine. Use an inhale to sweep your arms outwards and upwards, all the way back to standing. Hands to your chest with your exhale. Inhale and sweep your arms up. Forward fold as you breathe out. Lift to your fingers on your inhale. Step your right foot back to the rear of your mats and come up to a lunge with an inhale. Arms out to the sides and up. Make sure your right heel is facing the ceiling. And press back through your right heel until your back leg feels straight. And then bend your left leg a bit closer to 90 degrees by sinking your left hip crease down toward the floor beneath. At the same time, reach powerfully up through your hands so your arms are long and straight. And then lean forward, plant your hands, and step back to the down dog. Now from there, step your right foot forward. Left heel remains spun up, and your arms go out to the sides and upwards. Stretch your hip flexors in the back leg by pressing powerfully back through your left heel. Sink your right sitting bone a bit closer to the ground to bend your front leg close to 90. Then keep pressing back through your heel as you reach your fingertips to the sky, and breathe deeply. Now for a slightly different transition, lean forward and plant. Step back to the high plank position. Squeeze your elbows in tight and lower down about half. Roll over your toes for the up dog with an inhale. Lift your hips back up again for the down dog stretch with your exhale. And this time, drive the earth away from your body with both hands. Press your chest toward your legs. Let your heart and your skull sink nearer the earth. And both heels down toward the floor till you feel stretching in the backs of your legs. And then come up to your tiptoes. Rock your shoulders toward your wrists a bit. And step your right foot all the way forward to your hands. Then walk your hands across the ground to face the long edge of your mat. Turn your toes out a bit. Bend your legs for the horse. And then for the moment, crisscross your arms underneath your chest. And bend your legs till you feel a substantial stretch in your inner thighs. Keeping your legs bent like that, use an inhale to sweep your arms outwards and upwards. Then interlace your hands behind your skull. Squeeze your elbows back to open your chest. And bend your legs substantially like you're sitting on the saddle of a horse. As you inhale, feel your lower ribs expanding outward. And as you exhale, feel your ribs dropping down and toward your center. A few more breaths like that. Now use an inhale to straighten your legs, reach your arms all the way out to your sides, and take a massively big step to get back to the front of your mat. Inhale to sweep your arms upwards. Forward fold as you breathe out. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Step your left foot all the way back. And then come up to warrior two. Rear heel turns down. As you spin up, your torso faces the left. Now reach down and grab your right inner ankle with your right hand. Use your shoulder to press your knee over so your knee stacks above your ankle. Reach your left arm straight upward in the air. And then for the next few moments, just twist everything open to the long edge of the mat itself. Use your next inhale to come all the way up. Turn your right hand up to face the ceiling. Reverse the warrior by side bending left. Side bend your spine. And reach strongly through your right hand and fingertips. If you're able to, bend into your front leg just a little bit more as you hold. Inhale all the way back up for warrior two for the finale of it. Drop just a little deeper down by sinking your right hip crease close to the floor beneath. And gaze out over your right fingertips. And then reach out and forward. Plant your hands on the ground. Step back to the high push-up. And lower down through the low. Up dog as you breathe in. Down dog as you breathe out. All right, step your left foot forward. Spin your back heel to the ground and come all the way back to warrior two. And when you reach down and grab your heel, or the ankle rather, try to grab the inside of it so you can use your shoulder to press your knee sideways. As you spin your chest open to the edge, reach your right arm straight upwards in the air to the sky, and just keep twisting your hip as well as your chest all the way open to your side. A couple more breaths while there. Inhale all the way back to warrior two. That being a momentary transition, turn your left hand up straight away. Reverse the warrior with the side bend to your right. The priority here is that you're opening the side of your spine and the space between your ribs. But even so, really bend substantially into your front leg as you hold. And then all the way back up for full warrior two. Sink your left hip crease straight down toward the floor for the next few moments. Slide your shoulders down away from yours toward your belt. And keep gazing out over your outstretched hand. Now reach out and forward much as though you were trying to grab an apple off of a tree. And plant your hands on the ground. Chaturanga Vinyasa. Breathe in when you bend your back. And then exhale all the way out to the dog. As you hold there, press both heels closer to the ground beneath. And recenter all of your focus on your breathing. Just pay attention when you breathe in, and pay attention when you breathe out. And then come all the way up to your tiptoes. Rock your shoulders forward toward your hands. Step your right foot up to your thumbs. Turn your rearmost heel down to the ground. And with torso face forward, come up to warrior one. Now this time, take your hands together in a prayer position with your thumbs at about eye height. Attempt to touch your elbows together in front of your chest. If you wish, hold that modification. Otherwise, reach your arms out. Then wrap your left arm onto the right and attempt to intertwine your forearms. For the next few moments, just lift your elbows a little higher and press your hands away from your face and jaw at the same time. Now use an inhale to sweep a mountain up. Straighten your leg. Turn your feet to face sideways. Rotate your left foot back and around. Spin your right toes a little bit more in. And bend your leg to warrior one again. Now the modification can kind of feel nice, so take your hands down until your thumb is at about the same height as your eyes, and take your elbows closer together as you hold. Alternatively, if you want to go further, reach your arms out. Wrap your right arm under the left, intertwine such as you can, and with elbows lifted, press your hands away from your face and jaw. And breathe as you hold. Use an inhale to sweep your arms outwards and upwards. Straighten your leg. Turn your feet to face sideways. Once you've done so, take your left hand to the edge of your left leg. Reach your right arm a little higher. Side bend your torso to the left and crawl your left hand down a little closer to the blade edge of your foot as you hold. Massive side bend this. Use an inhale to come back up, and then a simple transitional shift for the same one on the other side. Keep rotating your chest open to the edge. Reach strongly out through your left hand. Inhale all the way back up to the top. Reach your arms out to your sides. Turn your toes out. And then take a huge step to get back to the front of your mat. I'd inhale to sweep your arms upwards. Forward fold as you breathe out. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Chaturanga push up as you exhale. The up dog with a big breath in. And the down dog with your exhale. Now this time, step your left foot forward. Turn your right heel up for a lunge and sweep your arms outwards and upwards. Next, join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Twist left and hook your right elbow all the way over your leg. Press your hands together and give your spinal column a little more rotation. As you do that, try to really emphasize pressing back for your right heel in the rear. Now release the twist just a slight bit. Take your left fingertips down to the floor beneath your shoulder and turn your fingers out to the left-hand side, which will help you balance a little. Turn your back heel down to the floor, a little bit like you would in Warrior One. Now straighten out your left leg as much as possible. Rotate your chest left, and then reach your left arm straight upwards in the air to the ceiling for the revolved triangle stretch. The whole entire time, try to keep your hips squared with the front of your mat. Bend your leg, plant your hands, step back for the high push-up, lower down through chaturanga, then breathe in for the up dog, and breathe out for the down dog. At this time, step your right foot forward. Turn your back heel up to face the ceiling, and then come up for the crescent lunge. With your hands joined together in a prayer at your chest, twist off to your left, cross your elbow over, and once your hands are joined together in a prayer, kick back your rearmost heel and keep twisting your spine to the side. Now release the twist just a little bit so you can take your left hand to the floor and spin your fingers out. For more stability, turn your back heel down. Straighten your right leg as much as possible. Twist toward the right and reach your right arm straight up. If you did another form of the triangle on the previous side, make sure you do that one again. And for the next few moments, know that it doesn't matter which one you're in so long as you twist. Now place both hands on the ground and bend your right leg and walk your hands across the mat to face the long edge. Make your feet a little wider by heel toeing your feet out until they're maybe 4.5, 5 feet wide. Turn your toes in, come all the way up to your fingertips. Then walk your hands back so your fingers align with your toes. Forward fold from there. And stretch the top of your head close to the floor. Afterward, use your next inhale to come up to your fingertips. Narrow your stance slightly by heel toeing your feet in. Take your hands back to your waist. Then stand all the way up. And if you're not feeling dizzy at the top, shift your hips forward and take a slight back bend. Come all the way back up. Reach your arms out to your sides. Turn your toes out. And take a really big step to get back to the front of your mat. For now and for the next few moments, let your eyes close. And recenter your focus on your inhaling and your exhaling. All right, then for today, the dancer's pose. If it helps you, turn your toes out just a little tiny bit. And once you've done that, reach your right arm straight up. Take your left hand back and grab your left foot. Make sure you anchor your eyes to something. Then rotate your left hip and your chest open to the edge. Consider kicking your foot upward into the hand. Either stay up there with me or lean forward just a little bit at a time to test your edge. And then all the way back up. Drop your foot back down to the floor. Join your hands together in a prayer. If the turnout helped, bump your toes out a little bit. If you like feet parallel better, that's cool. But reach your left arm straight up. Right hand back to get your foot. In this one, let your chest and your hip roll open to the right a little bit. Once you've accomplished that, kick your foot straight up. And again, like you did previously, feel free to stay up high like I am, or lean forward just a little bit at a time. Use another inhale to come all the way up. Drop your foot and join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. All right, inhale, sweep your arms all the way upwards. Forward fold as you exhale. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Chaturanga push up with your exhale. Deep breath in for the up dog. Exhale for the down dog. Step your right foot all the way forward. Come up to your fingertips and turn all 10 fingers out to the sides of the room. Step onto your front leg, straighten it as much as possible. Then rotate your left hip open to the edge. Lift your left leg a little higher. And if your balance is feeling pretty good, reach your left arm straight upwards in the air for the half moon. Now take both of your hands to the floor and place your left foot next to the right one. Come up to your fingertips, move your hands to your waist, and from there, stand up, pausing at vertical. Turn your toes out a little bit if you like to balance like that. Draw your right knee to your chest. Take your left hand to your knee or the blade edge of your foot. And if you're going to grab your foot, try to straighten your right leg forward. Reach your right arm straight back, and then rotate your chest off to the right hand side for now. Take your foot all the way back down to the earth and join your hands at your heart. Inhale to sweep your arms upwards. And then forward fold as you breathe out. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Chaturanga push up with your exhale. Up dog as you breathe in. Down dog as you breathe out. Step your left foot forward. Come up to your fingertips and turn them outwards. Step onto your left leg, lift the back one really high. And twist your hip and your chest open to the edge. If you want to go for the full form of it, reach your right arm straight upwards for now. Take your hands to the floor, place your right foot next to the left, and come all the way up to your fingers. Return your hands to your waist, and stand with your next breath. And turning your toes out, draw your left knee high to your chest. Take your right hand to it or the edge of your foot. Once you've substantiated the balance there, or established the balance rather, extend your left arm back, and then rotate your chest off to the left. Drop your foot, rejoin your hands together in a prayer. And then finally the tree, Vrikshasana. Draw your left foot up toward your right inner thigh. If you like to place the leg lower, that's always okay. Arm position of your choice. Just make sure you lock your eyes on some solid point beneath. Take your foot all the way back down. And then the same one on the other side over there. Drop your foot all the way back down to the floor beneath. Use an inhale to sweep your arms upwards. Then forward fold as you exhale. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Downward facing dog with your exhale. Let your knees come down to the mat. And then shift your hips back toward your heels for the child's pose stretch. All right, when you're ready, come up to a kneeling position. So we've been working on the crow lately, and I'm sure that when you've seen other people doing it, you've most likely noticed different arm positions. Sometimes the arms are completely straight and sometimes the arms are bent. Now, if you're getting started with the practice or you find that the balance is a little shaky, it's always better to bend your arms as you do this one. So as you set up today, make sure your hands are at least as wide as your hips, so wider stance is helpful. Point your elbows out to the sides, and once you've stuck your legs on your arms, lean forward, lift your gaze as much as you can, and then try to bend your legs to lift. Now, if you want to start with straight arms, you can always lift your hips a little higher. With your arms completely straight, you try to get your knees into your armpits. And then from that position there, with your arms still straight, bend your legs and try to lift your feet off of the floor. So I'll give you a minute more to try either or both of those variations. If you're not feeling the arm balance today, it's always okay to substitute with something else. But remember, really claw your fingers into the floor like tiger claws. There it is, Tara. Good, good. Try to make sure your middle fingers point straight forward toward the front of the mat. That'll give you 10 fingers to dig into the floor, which will help to stabilize. 30 more seconds. Good, good, good. Amy, yes. All right, well done, everybody. Step or hop back to the high plank position. And then lower down to your stomach. Reach your left arm out to the side. Make sure your arm's parallel to the front of your mat, and then turn your left palm to face up. Right hand in a push-up position. Bend your right leg, and then flip your right foot over to the floor behind you. Look straight upwards in the air to open up the walls of your chest. Roll yourself all the way back down. Reach your right arm out to the side with your palm facing up. Bend your left leg. Over onto your hip. And again, as before, gaze straight up. Pull yourself all the way back down to your stomach. Prop yourself up on your elbows so you resemble a sphinx again. But rather than just pressing your elbows into the ground, crazy glue your arms to the floor. Try to slide your elbows backward to thrust your chest forward a little bit more. And then lift upwards to your collarbones as you hold. If you want to take it deeper, go for the cobra stretch. If that pinches your lower back in any way, shape, or form, elbows down is always better. Through either position, try to slide your shoulders down. Pull backward with your hands or your elbows to pull your chest forward a bit. And then lower your ribs to the floor and plant your hands near the underside of your ribs. With your knees on the floor, press from low push up to high. And shift your hips back just a little further so your thighs are closer to vertical. Walk your hands all the way forward once you've accomplished that. And take the puppy dog stretch. Just let your whole chest sink closer to the floor beneath. Not totally necessary to put your forehead or your chin down, but if you can take them there, let them come down to rest upon the earth. Now round your spine to lift your elbows. Roll yourself all the way back down to the earth. Plant your hands near the underside of your ribs. Press to an up dog. And then lift again for the down dog stretch. Step your left foot forward. Take your back knee down. Slide your left knee further forward so your knee goes ahead of the ankle, but try to make sure your left heel stays on the ground. Now turn your toes out a little bit. Let your left knee drop to the side very slightly. And with your arms hanging near your sides, come up to vertical. Now let your hips drop down and forward. Thrust your chest forward. Take a bit of a back bend. And with your arms hanging near your sides, imagine one day touching your hands to the ground. Use an inhale to come back up. Plant your hands and step back to the down dog. Lunge your right foot forward next. Turn your toes out to the side and let your knee come down to the floor in the back. Remember, it's okay to turn your right toes out a little bit. Let your arms hang near your sides. And even allow your right knee to tilt to the right very slightly. Just try to make sure your whole right foot remains on the ground. Thrust your ribs forward. Lift up to the base of them. And once it sort of feels like a slight belly stretch, let your arms hang near your sides and keep bending. Use your next inhale to come up. Plant your hands. Step back for the high push-up and lower down through chaturanga. Then the up dog with an inhale. The down dog stretch with your exhale. And press your chest toward your thighs. Straighten your arms. And inch your heels just a slight bit closer to the mat beneath. And next for the camel's pose. Take your knees to the floor and come up to a high kneeling position. Shoulders above hips and hips above knees. If you like, you can always separate your ankles and come up to your toes, which will make it a little bit easier to grab your feet. Now with your hands on your waist, lift up to the base of your ribs first. Once you feel your belly moderately stretching, lean from your knee joint backward. Reach back and attempt to grab your heels. If that doesn't work, come back to the previous position. If it did work, keep holding on. Thrust your knees into the floor to slide your hips a little further forward. Lift up to the base of your ribs, and then lift your chin and roll it back to bed. Use an inhale to come all the way up, and then stick your bum back a little bit. Plant your hands on your legs. Press down and roll your tailbone under to elongate your lower back as you hold. All right, second round of that. Hands to your hips. If you want to modify, just lift up to the base of your ribs slightly. If you want to go further, lean from your knee joint backward. Rotate around and grab one heel, then potentially the other heel. Stick your knees into the floor, lift up to the base of your ribs, and breathe into it again. An inhale to come up. Stick your bum out a little bit again. Plant your hands on your knees. Press down and roll your tailbone under as you hold. Then walk your hands all the way forward. Come to the cat-cow kriya position. And thread the needle. Sweep your right arm all the way across your midline. And take your head and your shoulder down to the floor. Press down to come up. For something completely different, roll over onto your right hip. Take your right elbow down to the floor underneath your armpit. And then take a clamshell. Lift your left knee off the top of right knee. Press your knee and your elbow into the floor. And then reach your left arm straight upwards in the air as you hold. Squeeze your bum a little bit. If you want to make it harder, lift your left foot off of the right foot. Come all the way down, plant your hands, and press back to the cat-cow kriya position. All right, next one, sweep your left arm across your midline, and take your left shoulder to the floor for the threaded needle. Press down to come up. Roll over there onto your left hip. Take your left elbow down to the floor. And clamshell pose again. Drive your knee and your elbow into the floor to assist the lifting of your hips. If you want to make it a little more intense, lift your right ankle all the way off of the left. And take your hips all the way back down to the earth. Shift yourself back to the cat-cow kriya position. Now, if you're not feeling the forearm plank, you can definitely do cat-cows instead. Otherwise, take your elbows to the floor, roughly underneath your armpits. Curl your toes under, straighten your legs, and just try to keep your whole torso compact and as stiff as a board. Press your elbows down to the ground a little bit, round your upper back slightly, and then just keep pressing backwards to your heels as you hold. Over halfway through, just keep breathing through it. And take your knees down to the floor. One arm at a time, press back up to the cat-cow Kriya position. And then roll completely over onto your right hip. Walk your hands back a little bit so you can come up to pseudo vertical. Now grab your right leg, slide it way over to the right. And then grab your left leg and slide it way over to the left. Looks good. All right, now plant your hands on the floor, roughly between your knees. And then for the next few moments, just lean over your legs a little bit. Or if you prefer, take your elbows all the way down to the floor beneath. And then for now, come all the way up. Place one knee next to the other and roll over onto your other hip, the left one. Slide your left leg to the left. Your right leg out to the side. With your torso positioned between your knees, walk your hands over to the edge. Either hold with straight arms or take your elbows down to the floor again. Use an inhale to sit up. Sling your legs all the way forward to the front of your mat. And then roll all the way down to lay down on your back. Once you are lying there, reach your arms all the way out to your sides. Slide your pelvis over toward the right edge of your mat. Wrap your right knee over left. And then drop your knees to the left-hand side of the room that you're in. Sweep your knees back up. Slide your hips way over to the left. Cross your left knee over right. And then drop your knees to the right side this time. And sweep your knees back up and find your way to the corpse pose, flat out on your back on the floor. Make any final adjustments you need to get comfortable and still. So I've been practicing meditation for a long time now, and the majority of the early meditations that I learned were all mental. I remember the first exercise I ever practiced. One of my friends had me draw a little black dot on a wall. I just simply focused on that dot and attempted to clear my mind. Well, it actually took quite a while, but I got to the point where at some point I could keep my focus trained on that dot for a 5 minute increment without traveling elsewhere. But it was a huge struggle and it took tons and tons of practice. Now, in contrast, when I started to study Tibetan meditation, I found that things were a little bit easier so far as the whole concentration thing is concerned. And the reason that that's the case is the Tibetans use strong breathing practices to train the mind. Now, I'm sure you've noticed in the past that there's a correlation between your mental states and your breathing. If you're upset, your breath accelerates, and when you're really calm, your breath decelerates. Now, you can actually use your breathing patterns to hack into your nervous system to calm your body. And as you do that, and especially when you stop breathing for a little while, your mind naturally starts to get calm and clear. Now, today, for the final exercise of this practice, we'll do some breath retention techniques to help you slow down your thinking. Not quite to the point yet where you're ready to completely stop your thinking. But here, even now, with just a few minutes of practice, I think you can absolutely slow down the subjective quality of your thoughts. Now, all that's a little easier when your heartbeat is lowered and normal. Since you've been moving around a little bit, it's likely slightly accelerated. So in preparation, we'll do a general body scan. As you scan throughout your body, try to let your breath be natural. And just relax as much as you can to sort of return to a baseline. And that will help you get ready for the final practice of the day. So for now, if you will, redirect all of your awareness to your eyes. As you breathe normally and let your body get heavy, just stay focused there. And still breathing normally, shift awareness to the middle of your throat. And as you breathe naturally, keep your focus centered there. And just let your body get heavy. Tips of your shoulders. No need to alter your breathing, just let it be normal, shallow and even choppy. Elbows. Wrists. Palms of your hands. Tips of your fingers. Shift awareness to your hips. Kneecaps. Ankles. Bottoms of the feet. Tips of your toes. Sides of your body, right side and left side. Back of your body. Navel. Center of your chest. tips of your shoulders, back of your neck, center of your chest, then send awareness from your heart to the palms of your hands. From your heart to the bottoms of your feet. From your heart to the base of the spine, and again upward to the top of your head. So when you're breathing normally, your breath is shallow. When you inhale, your breath does not fill your lungs. And when you exhale, you have residual capacity. You're not actually breathing out all of your air. Now, in this particular exercise, you want your breath to be shallow just like that. So for the next few moments, redirect your awareness to your breathing patterns. And just pay attention to your inhale and your exhale. Feel the cool air moving into your nostrils as you breathe in. And feel the warm air moving out of your nostrils as you breathe out. Completely normal, shallow breath. See if you can really attune to the sensation of coolness as you breathe in and warmth as you breathe out. Whenever your mind wanders, redirect and start again. So when carbon dioxide builds in your body's pH goes down, and as that occurs, the hemoglobin in your body releases oxygen into your muscles. Now, in this particular process, you're going to hack into your biology by making that happen. The end result will be a general sense of relaxation. Sometimes you'll feel more alert afterward. You feel a little more warmer everywhere. A little more warm everywhere. Now, today we're going to do this by keeping the breath shallow. I'm going to have you hold your breath in 5-second increments with a recovery breath thereafter. I'll get you started, and then I'm going to turn the process over to you. Now, this practice can be used anytime you're anxious, and if you have a lot of anxiety, it can be very helpful. That said, if holding your breath makes you feel more anxious, you can rest anytime you need to and then jump back into it when you're ready. You can build up to it over time. So for now, reattune to your breath. Just watch your normal inhale and exhale. Take a normal breath in, a normal breath out, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in and out. Another normal inhale, a normal exhale, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe normally, usually for a few breaths. Roughly 10 seconds to rest. The next time you exhale, hold your breath out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Normal breaths, recover. At the end of your next exhale, pause for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe normally for around 10 seconds. Try to relax physically. At the end of your next exhale, pause for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Normal shallow breaths as you recover. At the end of your exhale, again, pause for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shallow breaths. A little sensation of breathlessness is completely normal and an indication that your carbon dioxide is rising. Again, hold at the end of your exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take 2 more breaths. At the end of the second, hold out for 5 seconds and repeat that cycle over and over again for the next minute on your own. Hold your breath out for 5 seconds, recover for around 2 breaths, and then just do it over and over. "30 seconds left." And then back for now to completely normal breaths. And as you breathe, just let yourself fully and completely relax. And when you're ready, let yourself roll all the way over and then on to one side. With both of your eyes closed, and come back to a seated and cross-legged posture of some type. And then join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Remember the person you dedicated your practice to, and either pray for or wish for their happiness and well-being. Take a moment to be grateful for the gift of another day. If you wish, repeat after me. May all sentient beings everywhere experience peace.